the Newsroom. I'm your host, Kora Siebert. From the Newsroom is a weekly news update brought to you by the Southeast Arrow. Today is the first day of spring, but you've probably noticed over the past few weeks that all of the flowers are already in bloom and the grass is greener than ever. Here is reporter Zach Huffman with more on the impacts of the early bloom.
April showers bring May flowers, but here we are in March, and many of the trees are in full.
This seems like a beautiful introduction to spring. Birds chirping, busy insects, and colorful flora all point to the warmer weather ahead. But early blooms aren't always good.
We've had a mild enough winter that we got like our one cold snap and then enough warm days that the buds are able to open now. They've had enough heat hours. And that is dangerous because it is before the average last frost date. Here in Cape, that's going to be like April 30th-ish. Still like, that's average, so it could still frost even after that. I wouldn't plant anything outside till like May. Like you can see here are the flowers, and this is what we don't want to die in the winter, because if they frost, they die, they fall off, and then no fruit, which is not good.
A similar situation last year in South Carolina destroyed over 70% of the state's peach harvest, according to the South Carolina Department of Agriculture.
Hopefully it's all busy insects, chirping birds, and happy peaches. Back to you, Cora.
Change is once again coming to SEMO's campus. Starting next fall, pets will now be allowed in dorms. Here is reporter Zach Huffman with more on the story.
The Towers complex will soon be hosting pets, and while pets are a great deal of joy for their owners, how do other students without pets feel about having them in their building?
Pets are like pretty cool. Like I don't mind them. I see people with pets around, maybe in Towers North, for example, see someone with a dog, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool dog, pet it. It makes my day. So yeah, it does increase quality of life.
A lot of people want to have their pets. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think that having service animals is a lot harder for a lot of students to come to terms with. Like, it's a lot harder for kids to be like, oh, I have a service animal, but it's like, oh, I brought my pet. Like, it's a lot easier for people to accept as like a society, and I think it'll improve and make people just happier and improve the quality of life here.
Dog one thing, but what about snakes and spiders?
Oh, no.
I'd probably switch rooms, honestly.
Oh no. I don't do well with spiders, so yeah, nah. No spiders.
If you're bringing a spider or a snake, I feel like, you might need to be accommodated specifically because people might get freaked out.
In other campus news, the SGA vice president was recently impeached. Here is reporter Ben Schicker on 60 Seconds with one of the Arrow editors who covered the story.
Welcome to 60 Seconds, and I am here with my guest, news and culture editor Lily Nieberge. And she was one of the many contributors to the SGA impeachment story this past week. And Lily, first question, what came about? How did this all unfold?
Well, I had a reporter that was covering SGA the past 2 weeks, and the first week they kicked her out because it was a closed session and she didn't really know why. And then the second week they announced that Kayla McCain, vice president, was formally impeached and resigned.
And is there any reasoning behind this impeachment? Do we know anything yet, or is it more to come?
Since it was in closed session, they will not reveal why she was impeached.
What kind of information did you get from the people that you talked to, the sources that you talked to?
They basically just told us it was a closed session, and they confirmed that she was impeached, but really will not tell us why she was impeached.
And what were the final results of the impeachment?
So at the February 26th meeting, when they voted to impeach her, 20 members voted to impeach, 8 voted against, and I believe 1 abstained.
And what warrants an impeachment?
Malfeasance of office, gross violation of the good student standing, so if you get bad grades, and then violation of duly enacted regulations would warrant an impeachment.
All right, 60 seconds.
Change is a common theme this week, as SEMO has officially uncorked a new alcohol policy. Here is reporter Ben Schicker with more on that and a rundown on the content in this week's paper.
This week's paper from the Arrow was the most news-packed one yet. From SEMO's new alcohol policy to NFL Combine coverage of a SEMO alum, so here's a quick rundown of some of these stories. Starting with SEMO's new policy. SEMO has uncorked their new alcohol policy, which will be officially put into place May 13th. This new policy will allow students 21 and over to drink inside dorms. Concerns rise over birth control access as Southeast Health transitions to Mercy Hospital. Mercy's website says they provide several services for women's health, such as Pap tests, pregnancy care, birth and mammograms, as well as family planning services. However, as a Catholic hospital, they do not provide contraceptive care or birth control. SEMO alum Ryan Flournoy proves his worth at the NFL Combine, running a 4.44 40-yard dash with a vertical jump of 39.50. Ryan Flournoy has turned his dream into a reality, it's looking like. To read more about these stories, pick up a copy of the Arrow today on SEMO's campus or its surrounding areas.
That's all for today. Join us next week for a new installment of From the Newsroom. I'm your host, Kora Siebert, and until next time, take it easy, Cape Girardeau.